all, let's see what we'll be looking at things inside this slide and inside our sessions. We will be talking about cloud computing and how Microsoft Azure works. We will talk about different advantages of cloud computings and threats to cloud environment, as we know that cloud is just someone else computer. We will also be looking at how Azure is dealing with security threats and how it is tackling with different kind of strategies and defense mechanisms and technologies. We will also see about policies and technologies used by Azure in its cloud environment, and we will also have some demos for native security capabilities. So let me dive directly into my topic. So, so first of all, let me introduce you about Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is a cloud computing platform for different kind of services and solutions for an individual as well as for an organizations. We have it has different solutions such as infrastructure as a service, as and platform as a service and software as a service, which can really help an organization to get started with their work without any kind of hassle. So uh, different without any kind of problems, all these services can be used for different kind of work such as data analytics, virtual computing, virtualization, data storage, network load balancing, and virtualizing network itself. And it's really easy to set up all the things. You can get all these services which is a click away. So, first of all, let me discuss something about how IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS works. So, we can simply see that on premises, if we try to manage a network, a server, and different kind of applications in a premises, in a local environment by an organization, everything should be managed. You can see that dark blue are the things that are managed by the users, and light blue are the things that are managed by the provider. So on premises, the organization is should fully manage its own application data, runtime applications, middleware, operating system, virtualization, networking, storage, and servers, and like everything. However, if we can take a different kind of services through cloud computing environment, uh, everything should not be managed by us. Some of and many of the applications and things are managed by the provider itself, such as in IaaS we can see that the server, storage, networking, and virtualization are totally managed by the provider itself, such as Azure. And operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application are uh, mainly managed by the users. And in past we can see that application data are managed by the user, however other things are managed by provider. And in SaaS everything else is managed by provider. And I know that it seems a little bit difficult to grab the understanding the thing it is trying to tell. So I have a little better illustration of how it actually works. So it's like pizza as a service. So we know that we can buy pizza, we can have pizza outside, we can also get it delivered, we can buy ingredients and bake it ourselves. So similar to making pizza at home, it's a traditional on-premises thing, which we buy everything and create, and we bake it at home with everything doing by our own self. And infrastructure, we buy things and we bake it at home. And in platform as a service, we get most of the things by the provider and we just get it delivered to us. And dining out is such as software as a service. So actually we can compare this both picture to get our concept clear. So actually IaaS is a cloud-based service. We pay as we go for services such as storage, networking, and virtualization. PaaS is a hardware and software tool available over the internet. PaaS is often the most cost-effective and time-effective way for a developer to create a unique application and development tools, database management, business analytics, and operating systems. We get everything on platform as a services. However, in SaaS platform makes software available to users over the internet, usually for monthly subscription fee. We also have some examples ourselves. We use different kind of services such as MS Word, PowerPoint, and a different kind of Microsoft services, Outlooks in a browser where we can actually get the service in a browser over the internet. So there are different features of cloud computing. We can pool the resources. The general concept is that the network's resources and different resources should behave uh, as a single pool resources, which aims for better reliability and flexibility as well as efficiency to work with. On-demand self-service is a great advantage in cloud computing because it provides a resource on demand. When the consumer wants it, the consumer request is then automatically processed by the cloud infrastructure without human intervention or the on the provider side. It's really easy to maintain. The cloud computing comes up with a unique with a update every time by gradually making it better. The updates are more compatible with the devices and perform faster than older ones, along with bugs which are fixed. So about availability, it's really great to work with cloud environment because we can choose availability zones so that we can focus on specific customers and specific clients and as per their need. So it's really economical, and because it has a pay as you go module, so you are only charged for something you use and nothing else. So for security, we will be having a great look at that after a while. So these are some of the features of cloud computing. And okay, so let me go. Okay, so it's about how Microsoft Azure is functioning. It's really flexible. It We can move compute resources up and down as we need, and all we pay is for something what we use. It's really open, supports almost any operating system, language, tool, or framework with itself. It's really reliable. So as per calculations, it have something around 99.95, or I guess a 995 availability in SLA and 24 into 7 tech support. Its reachability is really great. It is reachable all around the world, and it's really economical. So we can see different advantages of Azure because hosting and developing mobile application is really easy. Whether you are looking for a platform for hosting, developing, or managing web or mobile application, Azure makes those app autonomous and adaptive with patch management system, auto scale, and integration for on-premises apps with automatic patch management for virtual machines. We can spend less time managing our infrastructures and focus on improving our application. Azure also comes up with continuous deployment support, which allows us to streamline ongoing code updates. Also, AutoScale is a feature built into Azure Web App that adjusts your resources automatically based on customer web traffic. So you have the resources that we need when the traffic is high, and save money when we are not at the peak time. So similarly, distribute and supplement Active Directory is a great features. Is a great feature. Azure can integrate with our Active Directory to supplement our identity and access capabilities. This also gives our DNS a global reach, centralized management, and robust security. It also helps to innovate with IoT industry solution, because within Azure IoT Hub, it's a feature of Microsoft Azure. We can monitor and manage billions of devices and gain insight to help us make our business decision better, improve customer experiences, reduce complexity, lower cost, and speed up development. And we also have other benefits such as remote monitoring and predictive maintenance, as well as analytics. So we can also see that it also enhances and implements backup and disaster recovery very well. As a cloud-based solution, Azure is innately flexible. It can back up your data in almost any language on any operating system from any location. Plus, you define the frequency and extent of your backup schedule. We can schedule it anytime, daily, weekly, monthly, etc. Azure Site Recovery can enhance your backup with offsite replication, minimal on-site maintenance, and also up to 99 years of data retention, minimal or no capital investment, and minimal operational cost. Azure Backup stores three copies of your data into three different locations in the data center, and then another three copies in a remote Azure data center. So you can like literally never worry about losing your data anytime. So these are some of the advantages. So as we know that cloud is just someone else's computer. All we are talking about Azure. It's just Azure is hosting some computer devices and storage system for us to rent out. So we believe that there are some problems because a computer, any computer is a computer, and it does have some threats. So for secure threats, there are different kind of threats which really impacts the cloud environment very much, and they are need to be concerned. So let's move towards our threats. So social engineering for passwords and stolen passwords are really a great impact for cloud environment, because if any attacker or hacker gets password from a user. So basically, social engineering is an art of exploiting human psychology rather than technical hacking techniques to gain access for data. So getting a leaking getting their password stolen is really bad, because they can get access to your cloud environment, and they can literally access most of your resources and also escalate their privilege. So similarly, stolen password are basically those password which gets leaked while any kind of data breach happened previously, and user is not well known about it. So if connecting any compromised devices, such as we talked about IoT devices, if we connect our system, our cloud system with those kind of compromised devices, it's really gonna hamper the performance, as well as privacy concerns are really high on those points. So infecting we uploading different kind of malwares or ransomwares are very dangerous to cloud security. As a ransomware, we know that it's a form of malware that encrypts a victim's file or the files which are stored in storage devices. The attacker then demands a ransom from the victim to restore access to the data upon payment. A user are shown instructions for how to pay and get a decryption keys, and having something that in a cloud environment is really dangerous, because it does not just stores data for a particular user, but it have many data which are properties of someone else. So different other threats such as denial of service is kind of an attack on a service that disrupts its normal function and prevents other user from accessing it. And the most common target for DOS attack, or simply we say a distributed denial of service, DDoS attack. is online services such as websites. Though attack can be launched against networks, machines, or even a single program, so cloud security is also something that comes under this domain where it can be with where this kind of attack can impact the system. So we know there are different kind of cyber threats. I have mentioned some of those, but there are other too. So we need some kind of prevention for these kind of attacks. And so let's talk about how Azure actually helps us defend all these kind of problems. So okay, so Azure security capabilities and guidance is one of their security foundation where they actually have different kind of policies and different kind of technologies used by them to protect their customers as well as their own data. So basically, Azure Security Guidance is the core documentation of the policies followed by Azure Cloud Environment for its safety and protection. And about native security controls. Native security control are the actual tool and technologies used by Azure, which follows Azure security guidance to keep itself and its customers safe and secure. So we will be going to have a deep look at those things, and we will also be looking some of the practical demonstrations about where we can find those options. So let's move ahead. So in Azure security guidance, we can see these four are mostly used policies by Azure, and in these policies we can also find these under documents docs.microsoft.com, which is freely available for anyone to read. It also helps its customer to set up and comply with these kind of frameworks for better security. So Azure security top 10 best practices, we'll be having a look at those. So let's talk about Azure Security Benchmark. Previously, it was also known as Azure Security Compass, but now it is merged together, and we have something like Azure Security Benchmark. Uh, so, Cloud Adoption Framework. The Cloud Adoption Framework is a collection of documentation, implementation guidance, best practices, and tools that are proven guidance for Microsoft, which is designed to accelerate our cloud adoption journey. As we know that different organizations really face problems while adopting to cloud security and its infrastructures. So, Cloud Adoption Framework actually helps those kind of customers for better adoptions. We also have WAF, which is Architecture Framework, which is also a set of guiding policies that can be used to improve the quality of the workload. The framework consists of 5 pillars of architecture excellence, such as cost optimization, operational excellence, performance efficiency, reliability, and security. So all of these and other policies used by Azure are made by Azure by collaborating with NIST, which is a popular cybersecurity framework that provides a policy framework for computer security for how an organization can assess and improve their ability to prevent, detect, and respond to cyber attacks. Similarly, Azure also works with its customer to form better guidelines that can help their client to follow up, protect, and respond to different kind of alert and incident. So let's talk about top 10 best practices. I guess there are some security essential cloud security components. Microsoft Azure always focuses on people, process, technology, and main foundational architecture decision. So focusing on some essential cloud security components that Azure focuses on. So, as we know that people are the center of our system, all these systems are used to grow and enable people for different kind of activities and services, as there are attackers and defenders of the systems, and we believe that there are different system and automations working behind those kind of incident or any kind of cyber attack. Yes, it is true that system and automations are behind all of by most of the cyber attacks, but there are humans who are ultimately designing tools and malware, also the automated tools we are talking about and everything we see. So people need to be focused for better security. So we can see that people should be aware of what they are going through their technological job and environment. There are people who work behind the screen in cloud environment as well. And if we have a program that writes a program, there is a person who actually wrote the program that help writing another program. So actually people are the one who are building program which can build other programs. So eventually it's all about people doing the thing. People need education on cloud technology and its journey. People experiences can help change and upgrade security, and they need to know about the place. They have to look for different kind of threats, and they need to share responsibilities to solve those kind of problems, as well as they also need to know about technical cloud technologies such as architecture, service and security controls, as well as they need to provide a proper configurations as well as proper messages to their customer for best security. So similarly, processes, it Azure also focuses on process where they have streamlined security. It focuses on assigning accountability. So Azure always clears the ownership of decision and actions. This means that if a person is if a person is accountable for its own responsibilities, such as if a security incident happens due to the customer's fault, they should have proper accountability. And if there is some different issues by the cloud service provider such as Azure, they need to be accountable for those kind of things. So every task needs to be assigned, and particularly with ownership of the decision and actions. Security decisions should be made properly. Security incidents happen every day, so Azure makes sure that they are not planning incident response plan during an incident response happening. Sorry, during an incident happening. They define all the plans and streamline process for proper mitigation of the incident, so that the damage can be reduced. Organizations are not sure who is responsible for fixing these or who is responsible for monitoring the data and traffic flowing in. They also have different Azure also have different kind of recommendation systems in secure score to monitor their posture management and to assign task, and also focus on something that is important at the time and less focus on something that is not required at all. So this helps for organization to manage their posture. So accordingly, we have technology, and Azure uses different kind of technology such as passwordless system authentication system, multi-factor authentication system, which are really strong authentication assurance because they really help a user to secure their access and authentication level. And Azure also have native network security and firewall system, which simplifies the protection of this system. protection of this system, and we will also be looking at native threat detection, which simplifies threat detection and response. As we know that there are different technologies such as various IoT devices, containerized technologies such as Kubernetes and its cluster, and all these new technologies are really challenging for vendor to keep up, because everything has their own terminal to show alerts and issues, which is a problem to manage various issues in work environment. So organization wants to have a clear and better console for better alert notifications and proper guidance to work with the issue, and native threat detection enables and simplifies all in one place so that the client won't have to waste their time, because Azure makes it really easy to grab the data and work it with in no time. So we will also be having a look at these kind of technologies. So basically, in native security controls, Azure focuses on native threat detection, passwordless authentication, multi-factor authentication, and native native firewall security. So in native threat detection, Azure focuses on its securing its environment. Uh, it also helps to secure its Active Directory sessions. As we know that Active Directory is a Microsoft cloud-based identity and access management service, which helps employee to sign in and access resources internal resources such as app on our corporate network or intranet, along with any cloud app developed by own organization, should only be accessible to those in the organization, which Active Directory really helps. Azure Sentinel is a scalable cloud native security information event management system, or we also have heard SIEM, and security orchestration automated response SOAR solution. Sentinel delivers intelligent security analytics and threat intelligence across the enterprise, providing a single solution for alert detection, threat visibility, proactive hunting, and threat response. Azure native threat detection also focuses on network security by different using different kind of technologies. We'll be looking at those, and data security by encrypting them and applying proper access control mechanism to for better access. So in passwordless and multi-factor authentication, Azure focuses on biometric authentication more than
Sachin, I think you are muted.
आई थिङ्क बत्ती गयो जस्तो छ मेरोमा नि भर्खर गयो
Oh, okay, let's just wait for a while. In the meantime, if you guys have any sort of question, just let us know in the chat. I'll make sure म एकचोटि सोध्छु है त सचिनलाई के भएको ओके पावर कट भएको रहेछ इज रिजोइनिङ है त लेट्स जस्ट वेट While Sachin is rejoining, I just wanted to let all of you know that अहिले जुन हाम्रो program भइरहेको छ, so this is the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors community, and it's basically a global community with ambassadors from almost every country and region in the world. So where collaborative learning spaces and you know okay no not that. So where collaborative learning spaces and you know scaling up um,
Okay, I'm
is
sorry.
available. Yeah, so I would request you all, if you have time, to go through our website studentambassadors.microsoft.com, and if you are interested, we'd love to see you guys apply to the program. So yeah, Sachin is back. I would like to hand it over to him once again. Sachin, go ahead.
Uh, Thank you. I'm sorry, I just have a small power issue. So I was talking about passwordless and multi-factor authentication. So Microsoft believes that using less password can help you actually better manage your security, because focusing on biometric authentication can actually secure you and your assets, because leaking passwords is really a great security concern all over the world. It also focuses on defeating effective identity and password attacks, such as if anyone is trying to authenticate or brute force your attack, it detects such problems, and it shuts kind of problems and stops and completely blocks those kind of connections using different kind of anomaly detection and threat intelligence. So, passwordless and multi-factor authentication is something that Azure actually really focuses on and really encourages people to focus on. So, similarly, for network security, actually, Azure has different kind of features, such as Azure networking, where we can actually manage and apply different kind of access controls to those networking devices as well as networking systems. Azure Firewall is really advanced and a really high-tech tool and technology that we can use in our cloud environment for better security. Azure also have different kind of availability and redundancy mechanism through its different kind of functions. Domain name resolution reachability of Azure services are really great. We have global reachability in about I guess less than a day, and perimeter and network DMZ, demilitarized zone architecture, are really secure through Microsoft Azure, because they really help us to set access control and authentication mechanism, as well as better access control for those kind of zones where we host web servers, data storage, and different kind of data servers or FTPs. So as we talked about how Azure protects its customer through different kind of DDoS attacks by managing its traffic, and it also helps in monitoring and threat detection. And followingly, as we know that we have some of our data and cyber criminals are trying to grab those data, but because Azure is really working on its machine learning and artificial intelligence through deep learning and anomaly detection, it really has helped customer uh, keep their data safe and secure. So native firewall actually uses different kind of anomalies detections. Azure Firewall is a managed and cloud-based network security service that provides us Azure virtual network resources and helps us protect our assets through different kind of access control mechanisms and creating different kind of inbound and outbound rule. It also provide us with integrated web application firewall, which will help us protect our application, web application, as well as our network itself. So it is trained with deep learning algorithm to detect various kinds of anomalies and different kind of malicious activities throughout the network. And as we know, and that ICSA Labs has also certified Azure Firewall for better security, and PCI DSS, which is a set of requirement intended to ensure that all the companies need to process that processes, stores, or transmit critical information, maintain a secure environment, and it has also been certified and compliant with PCI DSS. So different kind of financial transaction can also be done through Azure Firewall. So basically, I guess I would like to show you some of the practicals and some of the options we can go through for to reach such applications in our portal.azure.com. We have all the options for all the things we talked about. So we can see there is a security center, or if you don't have there, you can actually search for security center, and we can see that there is an option of security center. So all the security stuffs are built in here in a single portal, where a user can actually really navigate all these options and really work with those for proper and fast management of their security. So we can see here that it really helps us to see security alerts. We have inventory where we can join all our cloud resources here. There is a secure score which actually helps us suggesting different kind of things. This is not a proper practical demonstration, but it's something you will need if you want to manage your security through Azure Security. So I'm just going over the options and where you can find it. So regulatory compliance will help you to see that if your devices are compliant with your policies that you have created or not. So here is Azure Defender, which is somewhat similar to uh, malware, anti-malware function, and we can also manage our firewall through firewall manager, and we can see that we can secure our different kind of deployments such as virtual networks, virtual hubs, and we can also create firewall policies and security partner providers. So I can just get back here, and we can also see that different kind of managing management such as pricing and settings, security policies, security solutions, workflow automations. You can also set your automations here. Coverage and cloud connectors are here in our. That's just one click away, which is really easy for a consumer and a customer to go through. So basically these are the screenshots of something I have kept, what just I showed you, and this is secure score, regulatory compliance, and insights are something that will help you go through something that you need to see, that you actually need to focus on. Okay, so here are some of the insights we can see, and Azure Defender and Firewall Manager, and that's a general overview of how you can see all the options in one place. So I guess we are almost at the end of our sessions, and if anybody would like to question would have some questions, I'm really happy to answer uh, those questions. So
Yeah, so if anybody has any sort of question, just let us know here. Otherwise, um, let's just wait 15 to 20 seconds. If you want to ask question on mic, just raise your hands so that we can allow you to unmute
Sure.
yourself,
Yes,
right?
sure.
All right. So looking at the way yeah, and the style you presented, uh, it was clear, and it was like everything was explained in a very intuitive way. So kudos to that. So I actually have a little bit of question. So I have some questions for you, Sachin. So first of all, I
Yeah,
would want
sure.
to ask, like you talked about a lot of features. So what kinds of features could we possibly get through the premium firewall?
Actually, I'd like to go back to my slide. Yeah, that's actually really great that you actually point out such a thing, because in Azure Firewall Premium we get different kind of services such as TLS inspection. So we can see that any traffic going through our network from one network to another, is the encryption secure or not. We also has IDPS, which really helps us to detect intrusions and prevent it. Azure Firewall Premium provides a signature-based intrusion detection and prevention system, which also allows rapid detection for attacks by looking up for some specific patterns, such as bit sequence in network traffics and malicious instructions and sequences used by malware. It also helps us to filter malicious URLs and different kind of malicious web categories overall. Uh, I guess I made some clarity
Yeah,
there.
awesome, awesome.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have a question in the chat. So
Yeah,
um,
sure.
I think it's Deepak. I think the name is misspelled. So, how is this different from AWS cloud computing? So he is asking about that particular topic.
Okay, so about differentiating about AWS cloud computing or Azure, which is better, which is not. I guess every services do have their own pros and cons. Such as Azure is really, I find it really user friendly, and but yeah, there are some pros of AWS itself. So actually, if we go point by point, we can actually find different kind of we can see and observe different kind of problems there, and different kind of problem in Azure. But overall, I guess both are really fine for working.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that answered the question in the chat. I have another question. So you were discussing about how Azure prevents and like helps to prevent against distributed denial of service attacks,
Yeah, yeah.
DDoS attacks. So how does Azure manage to do it?
Actually, DDoS attack are really complicated. So Microsoft Azure tries to layer different security defenses in an application, which actually reduces the chance of successful attack. Such as we can also, if we go through Azure functions in the Azure portal, we can see that there are different kind of applications such as Azure load balancers and Azure Application Gateway, which can really really helpful for such kind of attack, as Azure helps us to defend against DDoS attack by using different kind of virtual machines and configuring it to detect legitimate traffic too. Yeah, you can use such tools.
Fantastic. All right. So I have one last question for you, Sachin.
You're
So
so focused on creating questions, I guess.
No, like it was a very good presentation.
It's totally well.
I
Yeah,
managed to have some questions. So
sure.
my question is, does so since our Windows, we lots of us use Windows machines. So does Azure use the same Windows defenders that we use in our local Windows machines?
Uh, Actually, yes and no are both the answer to your question, because uh, as Microsoft, in Microsoft Azure, uh, I believe that Microsoft anti-malware, something, yeah, that's called Microsoft anti-malware, is something that is used in Azure cloud and virtual machines, which has similar foundation of Windows Defender. However, as it needs to be much more robust for a cloud system to detect malicious activity, it is a little different than Windows Defender itself. And anti-malware services are also used by each and every services provided by Azure, which makes Azure anti-malware much more fast, robust, and really safe and protected. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think we have a final question. Let's take one final question from the chat. So
Sure.
the question is Azure computing geographically reliable?
Yes, yes, actually, Azure, in Azure you can actually select different kind of availability, as well as computing zones, where you can actually host your actual data there, and it's really easy to grab those kind of datas, and it's really easy to see the analytics and data processing near you. I guess we have really near, I guess, in Singapore. I guess, yeah. Singapore is
Yep.
the
Yep.
nearest one, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, some of that is
Um,
that. I just
we
it, but
have
I
a
guess.
lot of nearby data centers. So if you
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at the latency, I would, yeah, Singapore is somewhat like closest to Nepal in terms of latency. But there are
Yeah.
lots
So,
and lots of data centers located like 3 or 4 in India only. So it's
yeah,
ever
India.
expanding, and it
Yeah.
basically, I think, if I'm correct, Azure has the most diverse, most diverse geographic of data center locations among other cloud providers. So I must have read this somewhere. All right. Okay. Okay. There's a very good question in the chat, so I'll read it out for you. About 90% of the organization use Azure Active Directory in an organization. There is a large gap of knowledge which
Yeah.
security professionals and administrators struggle to fill. We need Active Directory knowledge in security fields in future context of Nepal. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, he's totally
Yeah.
correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very good thing. Yeah.
Everyone should, yeah, know about it.
Awesome.
Any more questions? Thank
If
you,
we
Yufan. Thank you for your point. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's wait for 20 to 30 seconds if we have any other question. Otherwise, we will move on to conclude the session.
Yeah, I actually want to thank everyone present here for
Mhm.
this session. Yeah, I'm really grateful for everyone who is present here. Their valuable time and their presence mean a lot to me. Yeah, thank you, everyone. And yeah, and most of all, I'd like to thank Sambhav Dai for helping me throughout this event hosting and all. And also Manish, I guess he's here or not. I did send him a message, but yeah, Manish and yeah, mostly Sambhav Dai. Yeah, really, thank you so much.
Awesome. Could you put up your thank you slide here so that we could,
Oh, sure,
yeah,
sure.
I could also formally thank everybody.
Sure, sure, sure.
Amazing.